To the final of the men's lightweight eights, and the crew to beat here has to be the Italians, the gold medal winners in Tasmania, with 5 of that crew still remaining. Host country Austria in lane number 1. Next to them the crew from France. New combinations for both of those countries for this year's World Championships. And then in lane number 3, Great Britain. Bronze medalists a year ago, or should I say last November, in Tasmania, with 4 members of that crew in the boat today. Well, 3 oarsmen and John Deakin, the Cox. Lane 4, the very, very talented and experienced Italians. Fabrizio Ravasi, the stroke there, with 6 gold lightweight medals to his credit. Australia in lane number 5. 5th in Tasmania, so looking to improve on that. 3 members of that crew surviving in today's boat. And finally the United States, who were 6th just behind Australia. And they've got 2 members of that crew, and once again Michael O'Gorman is their Cox. Great Britain and Italy, the 2 crews to qualify directly into this final.
Are you ready? Go!
Italy got away first. This is the event that the Italians have dominated. And here from our camera in the boat, the home crew Austria getting off the start. Very good shot to see exactly what they have to do in those first 15 or 20 strokes.
And it also gives you a real impression of speed of the boat travelling through the water here.
I'm afraid it hasn't helped them. They're bringing up the rear at the moment, and it's the Italians and the Americans on the far side who are sharing the lead at the moment, going through that line of boys together. World champions, Italy, reigning world champions, just sitting there, getting into their rhythm, and the Americans fighting them every stroke of the way. Bit of water being thrown up by the Americans there at the finishes. But they've got a good horizontal drive back, good use of the legs, good length.
Moving nicely through this first half of the race here, the Americans, but the Italians are the crew to beat. They've won this title and made this race very much their own. They were champions back in 1988 in Milan. They won it in '89 in Bled, then again last year. And it's going to be a tough crew that takes this title away from them.
Oh, indeed it is. Of the 2 men there in the stern, so experienced, Fabrizio Ravasi and Andrea Ray, they've been the anchors in this boat. They've dominated this event, really, almost the whole of their rowing careers.
Alexander Winiger calling out the race plan there for the Austrian crew, who are finding this company pretty hot at the moment. Austria through the first 500 metres in about 5th place.
The boat's rolling around quite a bit. And here you can see the difference. You can see the difference of this Australian crew, so accurate on the catch, so well disciplined. Always well disciplined, good drawback, good sit back, blades perhaps riding out a little bit at stroke and 7, just losing a little bit of their finishes, and that's not going to help them in this headwind.
Australians just about in 3rd place at the moment. There's the spread of the field. Austria closest to us, then France still in contention, and the French crew's in very good form on this second day, but Italy sitting there in the driving seat, very much in control of this race. Great Britain in lane 3, yet to make a move, and I think they're going to have to put themselves more in the picture in the next few metres, Dan, otherwise they're going to get left.
Yes, I think they're going to be hard pushed to get back on terms. The Americans looked over there in that far side there. The Americans looked very good. Oh, and there's Raymond Haberl at 2 in the Austrian crew. He was a world champion single sculler 12 years ago, 14 years ago when I was doing it, and he's sitting in the 2 seat of the Austrian crew. But it's Italy still in front. Italy quarter of a length ahead now of the Americans, but the French are pushing. The French are pushing in lane 2, And it's the French at the moment sitting in second place, just behind the Italians, who I would have expected to have moved ahead now by a bit more than this. I would have expected to see them putting more water between them and the chasing crews.
We're back to the mini camera on the Austrian boat. And that's a better shot to give you an idea of the difference between Italy and France, and on the far side the United States, as we go past the Mosquito Grill, very aptly named.
Well, the Americans have pushed back in front of the French again now. The French took second place for a while, dropped back again. The Americans have had another push at them, and it's now really both of these crews hunting down the Italians. The Italians stuck there a bit, not able to get anything more, but very, very experienced, and one would expect them not to get caught.
Quite interesting with the French crews, because there does seem to be a renaissance in French rowing. After a few years in the doldrums, the system starts to work in France, and it's good to see that their oarsmen and women are beginning to get back into contention. Very much more the men rather than the women at the moment.
Indeed, that's right. But it's still the Americans who've really had a very bad championship so far. They've not had really anything in men's rowing at all. So this American crew has got an awful lot of its hopes resting on shoulders here, trying to produce something for the Americans to be proud of.
Coming down the British crew to the stroke, Stephen Wright. And the British now working extra hard, and they're going to need to, because in this third 500 the British are still probably fourth or fifth, in fact fifth, as we go through the final check. So 500 meters to go, and it's Italy in the lead ahead of the United States. Then in third place it's France, with Australia and Britain pretty close in fourth or fifth place. This promises to be a real showdown now, with just about 280 meters to go now. The French working very hard, the Italians still looking smooth, the United States not out of it.
Well, the French on this side are moving extremely well, beautifully connected. They are hunting the Americans, but the Italians, all this experience, winding it up, and there you see that experienced stern pair. These are the men who really know the way. They're not used to coming second. They're going to hold on, and you can see how tough they are, those two stern pair men. Different crew here, 3 changes in this crew, but what a hard catch at stroke. And here they are coming up to the line, 15 strokes to go.
In the centre of your picture, in lane 3 from the left, are the British crew, but here in lane number 4 are the Italians. Coming through, and it's the Italians who've got ahead of the French, who are just out of your picture. The United States on the far side look as if they're going to hold on. They're trying to wrestle with the French, who are split by the Italians. It's close for the silver medal. The Italians are just about going to get there for the gold. The French are absolutely flying at the finish, and the French have almost caught the Italians on the line. Never mind the silver medal, the French nearly snatched gold and gave the Italians the fright. They can cheer and put their hands up now, but I just wonder, Dan, if they realised what was coming at them.
Well, they were dying, but the French were moving. The French were moving so well over those last 200 metres. They caught the Americans. The Americans faded that last little bit, but my goodness, what a close finish, right the way across the board, and a great race.
So gold to Italy, they retain the title and are still the crew to beat in this category. France, another super finish from them, just didn't make it there. And in third place, the United States, who were in contention really all the way, but could find nothing to the acceleration of the other two crews in the closing stages.
Marigliano.
They're well used to being up on that podium.
Cantoni.
But I think that's probably the closest one that they've had. They usually have a good 3/4 of length of clear. But a very good result for them.
And the second day's racing really proceeding as the first did. The wind may have changed, but it's really exciting. We're getting lots of close finishes, and really underlining just how good this sport is and what quality there is out on that regatta course in terms of sheer athleticism and fitness and power. But from the lightweight men,